Good afternoon and welcome. I greet you with the greeting of St. Francis. May the Lord give you his peace. Amen. Well, it's a joy to be here back at Holy Mass on a Monday in the season of Lent. And the readings really are something quite beautiful. We have in the Gospel of John a curious detail. John records 7 miracles that Jesus does. Now we know from Matthew, Mark, and Luke, there are all sorts of miracles. But in John, he chose to just tell us about 7. And John doesn't use the word miracle, he uses the word sign, because the miracles of Jesus are loaded with meaning. Whenever Jesus does something, especially a miracle, there's always more going on than just the miracle. Like a sign, it's pointing us to something. And so the first 2 signs have a connection to Cana and Galilee. Does anybody know why? Well, let me know. I prayed about it all morning, and I asked the Lord to tell me, and he just smiled. Okay. But it is true that the 7 signs relate to each other in the Gospel of John, and there's a certain building, and each one of those signs do relate to the topic of faith. Now, faith, and this man has such faith. He is kind of far away from home. Capernaum is not close to Cana. It's a while to get there, especially without helicopters and airplanes. Okay, would have been probably a good day and a half walk. And he gets this word from Jesus, and he's challenged in the beginning. Jesus says a little something like, you're not going to believe unless you see a miracle. And the man is undeterred by this. There are other moments when Jesus does something similar to people. You kind of pick up on Jesus's methodology, Jesus's way. And maybe we experience that in our own life. We don't always instantly get graces or whatever we're looking for. Sometimes there's a challenge, and the Lord is looking at us to see if we're going to persevere. And so the man perseveres. He says, please come down and heal my son. And Jesus does this miracle where he doesn't even have to physically go there. He just wills it, and this miracle of healing happens. And then we're told the man believed and left. Now, at this moment, the man has no idea of knowing. There's no cell phones, there's no internet, there's no FaceTime. So he walks out of there trusting that what Jesus said was the case. And then this beautiful detail that on his way, his servants have come looking for him. They meet, and then they find out at the moment that the son started getting better was the moment Jesus said the word, he'll be fine. Boom. It's really something. And then there's something further. So it's a sign that more is going to happen. The whole household become believers. And in this way, we see an aspect of God's grace that it's always given for the sake of growth. God gives you a grace. It's never just for you, and it's never meant to just stay there, but it's meant to grow. It's meant to spread. This is something, the nature of how God's grace works. When you're going to confession, maybe you're getting ready to talk to somebody about your spiritual life, and you're trying to pinpoint the graces that are at work in your life or graces that you've received. Do your best to be open to that further expansion, that further growth. God does something in your life. Maybe that thing is going to end up helping you minister to somebody else in some way. So it's always there to grow and to expand, and it's always a sign pointing to something further. If you want to know the ultimate reality that all of this stuff is pointing to, do you want to know? The new heaven and the new earth, the first reading from Isaiah. That'll come back again in the first letter of Peter and in the book of Revelation. The transformation and renewal of all of creation. What happened to Jesus is going to happen to us, is going to happen to creation, its death and its resurrection, its glorification and transformation. And until we get to that moment, there's much growth that needs to happen. Amen.
Amen.